everybody, I'm Bree the Plant Lady, and today I am going to plant a Foodscape container. I'm using my all-time favorite brand, Crescent Gardens. They just make the best quality containers that I have ever seen. And today I'm going to do a season collision. I'm going to do 2 warm season plants, tomato and peanuts, and mix those with some cabbage and spinach. That way I get the best of all the seasons, and if we have a frost that comes up in the next few weeks, I'll easily be able to move the container in and protect it. So stay tuned to find out how I plant my season collision Foodscape container. Are y'all familiar with dollies? They're going to be your very best friend, especially when you need to move your containers around. I use this in an effort to not hurt myself by trying to pick up a heavy pot. Now I'm going to fill this with my favorite soil of all time. This is Soil Cube Organic Compost. The reason I love this is that it's really the perfect medium for both growing in ground and in containers. It allows me to be able to grow whatever veggies or ornamentals I want, and I don't have to water it nearly as often as I would with traditional potting soil. Now right now, this is only available in the Southeast, so you can check out soilcube.com to see if you are in the shipping range. If you are, consider yourself very fortunate. This will absolutely change your life as a gardener, both in ground and in containers. Now that I have my pot in my area where I'm going to grow it, it's time for me to gather my plants. So as I mentioned in the intro, I am going to do a kind of seasons colliding container planting. And I have got some raw peanuts, which I absolutely love to grow. The reason I like peanuts so much, they're a great summer ground cover in the ground or in a container, and they naturally fix nitrogen. So they're helping provide the nutrients that the rest of the plants in your container are going to need. But before I plant the peanuts, I have to get the tomato planted. So this is a tomato plant that a friend gave me that had grown this out in a greenhouse. And I don't usually tell people to plant potatoes this early or plant tomatoes this early in the season, but I have this, and the goal here is to get it planted deep so that long term this will grow out through the entire summer. So according to the label, this is San Marzano. This is one of my favorite paste varieties, so I'd love to get a jump start on the season. It's got a great root system. I'm just going to squeeze that a little bit, and I am planting this deep so that some of the stalk will actually be covered up. In fact, I'm going to take this lower leaf off, and then I'm just going to cover that back up with all this soil, and I'm going to remove this additional bottom leaf. That just allows the tomato to actually develop a larger root system, so it's for seedling tomatoes. That's highly recommended. Now for the peanuts, I don't need to plant a lot of peanuts because this isn't enormous, and remember there's usually 2 peanuts per shell. The critical thing is to take them out of the shell so that you have the raw nut. You can't plant planters. I've tried. They don't germinate. So you have to actually buy peanuts from either an online source or from like an agricultural supplier that is selling kind of more practical agronomic crops. And I am just going to plant these kind of midway through, right along kind of the middle area, and it's going to be like 6 peanuts total. So in the long haul, this will be a solid ground cover of peanuts like through the summer season, but it's going to be a little while before they actually germinate. And I want this to look good right now. So that's where my cool season veggies come in. And I'm going to do 3 spinach. I'm going to plant them right along the edge. And I'm going to do 3 cabbage. This will give me some color and some leaf textural contrast, in addition to some very practical harvestability. Because it's only the beginning of April right now. It's going to be a while before, realistically, I'm harvesting tomatoes. And with peanuts, you don't harvest those until the very end of the season. So that's like at Halloween when you're actually harvesting those. So this spring I will be able to enjoy the harvests from the cabbage and the spinach while I wait for these summer plants to actually grow out. So the final step for this planting is just to water everything in. And I'm not only going to water, but I'm going to give this a light dose of fertilizer as well, just to give everything a jump start. But first I'm going to water it so that I make sure all the soil is settled in. And then I am going to use my favorite fertilizer, just fish emulsion. And yes, everyone will know that you have applied it because it is smelly. It's very effective. You just want to add a couple of tablespoons to your watering can and then dilute it with fresh water. And this great Crescent Containers watering can is really the perfect thing to apply fish emulsion with. It's got a really great rose that will finely distribute it, and this will act as the nutrient source for the next 30 days for all of these plants. At this time of year, I don't want to give anything too much fertilizer because we could still get cold. I don't want anything to grow too tender, but I do want everything to have at least some nutrients to get started. And so that's where providing some fish emulsion is so valuable. Plants actually absorb it both through their foliage and through their root system. And to me, it's just the most effective organic fertilizer that you can apply. I look forward to giving you all updates on this Season Collision Foodscape container in my Crescent Gardens pot. Thanks so much for watching, everybody.